Welcome to Rusty Brain Dump. I'd like to give you an overview of what I've discovered having to do with these drivers that came with this machine. These are 100 volt DC output drivers, I think 10 amps if I remember correctly. I'd have to look that up. And when I first bought this machine, or when I was first researching whether I should buy this machine, I saw a number of people on the forums, or a few people say, oh, it's easy to drive those. You can use the old drivers. They're easy. They just start. They take a plus 10 or plus or minus 10 volts, and you can just run it straight off of, say, the Mesa CNC boards or whatever. There's multiple people who said things like that. So when I got this machine, I thought it was going to be pretty straightforward. So I started playing with it. I plugged in 5 volts into the inputs, 0 and 5 volts into the two differential inputs, and I turned it on, and I hit the switch, and the motor moved. I was excited. The first thing happened, the motor moved. Well, it turns out that the motor I could only get the motor to move at full speed forward or full speed backwards. And the first time I did that, I actually went full speed forward and jammed my table because it just went to the end and stopped. Went as far as it could go and stopped. So I tried 2 volts, I tried 1 volt, I tried 5 volts, I tried -1 volt, -2 volts, and it doesn't matter what I give it, it goes full speed forward or full speed backwards. I've tried read the documentation. I've tried multiple ideas. In fact, I created this box over here, which has a on-off switch for the enable and disable of the drive. It has potentiometers for the inputs, 2 differential inputs, and the third input is for the tachometer input. And had the same results: full speed forward, full speed backwards. In fact, when I moved the tachometer, it would go from full speed forward to full speed backwards immediately, and I caused some damage doing that somewhere along the line. It's not unrecoverable, luckily. So at this point, I don't see any way to drive these. I've tried a number of things. As you can see, this is all hooked up to the X-axis right now. The wires from that box. And at this point, I have decided that's not going to work. I don't think the people who said that was going to work had ever tried it, or if they have, they didn't explain how to do it. I'm guessing that I'm either missing something fundamental, or it's somebody who just doesn't know what they're talking about. So, and it's entirely possible that it's one of those that I don't know what I'm doing. But I think I've done all the research I can, and so I'm looking for, or I've found another solution, and I will share that in my next video. But I wanted to give an update on these drivers. Just so you know, one of the drivers, when I plugged it in, it fried, burned up immediately. I think it was the transformer or a couple of capacitors. I don't know. There were sparks and lots of smoke, and that one's dead. Another one of these, I think I damaged at least one of the components by when I was doing my testing. I think I shorted out. I shorted across 2 lines from the 100 volt DC across another line, and it blew out a transistor or something like that on the board. So done some damage to 2 of these boards. The other 2 I suspect are still okay, if they were okay to begin with. I'm not totally sure, but I'm also no longer going to be experimenting with those boards and trying to make them work. I'm starting with a new plan. So that's just an update on those boards and what I found, and I will give you more information very soon. Thanks for watching.